be like, hey, let's come together and let's decide what's best for Mesa County. And then, of course, we have to pick a congressman. Of
Sure.
course, like we play a role in national, yes.
Yeah.
But if we're trying to fix us here first, like we have to build us here.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Better Together. I'm your host, Nick Allen, and we're doing something a little special today. We're in person. So I have my friend of the show,
Yeah.
Beau Flores here today. Beau, welcome to Better Together.
Yes, sir. I'm excited.
Good, good. Well, we're doing a initiative talking to local party leaders in the two major parties.
Mhm.
So go ahead and just tell us your position and yeah, a little bit about your party.
Yeah, so um I'm just got elected as the first vice chair of the Republican Party here in Mesa County, and
Mhm.
maybe not even 2 months, but no, maybe 2 months, maybe a little over 2 months.
Yeah.
But yeah, for very, very kind of new to that whole process and world. I've always been involved
Hmm.
with politics and candidates and the Republican Party, but it was an opportunity arose
Hmm.
when the first vice chair decided to run for House District 54, and that's Jason Bias. So he stepped down, and the party does and is willing and is trying to get young people more involved. And I'm not too young, but I'm
We are getting a little older,
yeah,
but
yeah.
in context.
Maybe even young is
Yeah,
accurate here in the
sure.
this county, but um yeah. So and Jason is a young gentleman, and he also has the same passion. So when he resigned, that people were kind of like, "Oh, like
Mm.
you've been around and you've been involved." And a lot of my work had me traveling across the country and stuff. But I this year I've been kind of stayed here full time. So I took it. I went and um, someone nominated me at
Mhm.
the meeting, and I won.
Nice. Well,
So
congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah, I know you and I have known each other for years
Yeah, a
now.
long time now.
Right. Yeah.
I was actually thinking that when was the Parks and Rec?
It was before COVID. So it
Yeah,
was
I was a
2019.
student at
Yeah.
CMU.
Right. Yeah. So it's been cool to watch you just continue to grow in these roles.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I want to dive into these specific questions, but first, like, we posted on your accident and
Hmm.
I know this is your first interview since then. Just wanted to check in, see how you're doing as a human. And yeah, you survived,
Yeah,
obviously.
literally.
Yeah. We'll put a picture here
Yeah,
of the accident.
because yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I got some editing skills.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was I left after the election. I always tend to do a vacation
Hmm.
after the election, so I went to South Korea to see some friends. Have a lot of friends there, so it was a fun trip.
Hmm.
Ate good food, hung out with good people, and I flew back. So I flew from Vegas,
Hmm.
so I flew back to Vegas, and I was driving back home to Grand Junction, and in Utah between Richfield and Salina, middle of nowhere. The officers are like, "This is pretty much the worst place you could." I was like, "Yeah,
Right.
thanks." I think anywhere is crashing is pretty bad, but
Mm.
I was driving, and I don't ever speed. I promise, I don't ever speed. And
Totally.
I have friends who like hate driving with me because of it, but I knew I had to take a slight little right, and my wheels just caught something, and
Hmm.
it did a hard left, and it just slid, kind of flipped from there, and it rolled into the median. And yeah, it was quite an experience. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. Yeah, the doctor was shocked that I didn't break anything or had any trauma or anything, but just my neck hurts now, and
Sure.
I'll take that over not being here.
Yeah. No, agreed. Agreed.
But it was an eye opener. Like, and if anyone has been through that kind of situation, I like they understand it. It puts life into perspective, and
Mhm.
I don't know. Maybe I'll become a better person from it, or just a worse. But we'll see.
We'll lean on better. We'll
Yeah,
lean on
yeah.
better.
Better together.
Yes, that's what we do here. And that's why I wanted to bring you on the show.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Because from the political lens too, and of course we're really happy you're alive, obviously.
Yeah.
But like one, how how did you first get entered into politics? And then bringing in the recent accident, like how's things kind of shifted for you? But let's talk first your
Mhm.
entry.
So when I was a student at CMU,
Hmm.
um, we always talk about this. This is one of my favorite. This is actually how I met you and how I got into it was before I got into the city kind of level of that. I was the student body president
Hmm.
at CMU, and which was amazing because I was the first student from Hawaii to ever win in the history of.
And they have a large population
Yeah,
of Hawaiian students.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so when I was student body president there, uh, in its own world, it's kind of political, right? There's the House, there's the Senate,
Hmm.
there's this and that, and funds, and so I learned how a lot of allocating happens, and
Hmm.
and I learned in my position as president is like you can legitimately do a lot of good. Like it was kind of addicting
Sure.
when I could help someone because I had that power or ability to do it that no other student has.
Hmm.
And like it's just to make that student happy or that student better, like it. And they didn't have to know. Most times they never knew what was how or their helped or whatever. But
Right.
I fell in love in that feeling of just helping. And
Hmm.
I learned that I mean we all know politics is there's some shady characters in it on both sides,
Sure.
but at the essence of it, you could and can do a lot of good.
Hmm.
So I wanted to grow from that, and uh Tim Foster was the president at the time at CMU, and he kind of took me under his wing, and I learned a lot from him. And one of it was, hey, you should get involved in the
Local
city,
boy.
yeah,
Yeah.
in local. And it was kind of funny because I was a student, like I had maybe $500 a month, and I thought that was so much,
Sure.
like I was happy
Right.
with my McDonald's and ramen, but so I knew at that time it was. Phil Pale was on the city council
Hmm.
and Duke Warman.
Yep.
And Duke was the mayor, I believe.
Hmm.
And I had really good relations with him.
Hmm.
And of course I call him Uncle Phil, it's our culture. Uncle Phil Pale was on the council and they both interviewed me. They were like, yeah, like, learn. And I of course, and this is what I'm sure we'll go into is I had no experience
Sure.
going into that as a student to talk about budgets and
Hmm.
especially because Parks and Rec has a big chunk of that
Huge.
and it generates revenue and it spends like it's a lot and I didn't know any of that but when I got um appointed there and voted on by the council that was pretty much the first legit step that I took towards any kind of politics or anything is just and it's understanding where money goes and comes from I think is a big part of
Hmm.
politics but that's where I met you
Right.
and that's it's been a friendship ever since and I
Yeah.
think that's and I want people to understand is of course we hear there's no secret like left and right and this and
Hmm.
that, but it's clear. I want everyone to know this. It's clear that Nick and I don't share a lot
Sure.
of the same views, but we have a good time. We talk
Hmm.
about it, we address the issues, and we even are a soundboard for some topics or issues that come up. And this is what I would think. This is what you would like. It's to me that what we should do.
Right.
And I appreciate what the core kind of meaning and messaging of what Better Together is trying to do. But I'll tell anyone just join a board, join
Hmm.
like or just go to a meeting.
Right.
Everyone they're so sometimes they're just the most boring thing in the entire
Yes.
world. But you learn a lot. And being on that board, I've learned a lot.
Right.
So
Well, and we learned like what we can agree on. There's so many things that just come down to, brass tacks of just
yeah.
like, yeah, is this better for the community? Can it serve the community or is it not? And a lot of times there's agreement within there.
Hmm.
It's not big ideological things. It's just like grassroots
Hmm.
or like literally what park, should have development first. Things like that is just so important. From the like your achievements as CMU president, what are you most proud of, like from that work?
Um, my I have two.
Hmm.
My biggest one that I am so proud of is that so CMU has a good system where they allow students to have a tremendous say on student fees. So took pride in myself and my administration at that time was that we kept it low for one of the probably the lowest in the entire state that of what students would pay under the category of student fees.
Right.
And Casimu is constantly growing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever slowed down since I've been there till now.
No, we can
You
see the
see a new
construction.
yes, there's like a new building every single year. And so the enrollment is just growing. But it's called the biennial process where student government is the actual process of how they allocate funds, raise it if they want,
Mhm.
lower it if they want. And I was really happy with what we could do. We cut where we could, we gave where we could, and everyone was happy. Everyone, and I mean, well, maybe they weren't,
Well, most
but
were.
yes,
They wanted,
but
yeah, college is more expensive every year, so any dollar you can save.
and that was a big thing where I could say, hey, under us, CMU still has the lowest student fees, and
Mhm.
and that affects every single student. That's
Mhm.
not just the rich students or the poor students or or minorities or it's everybody.
Sure.
Everyone fits that category. So that was my probably my biggest thing that the for biggest for me. The biggest thing I think I did
Mhm.
was my second term when I was president. I won twice, fun fact.
Congratulations.
And the second time was a whole lot easier, I'll tell you that.
Sure.
When you do a good job, people want you back.
Makes it a lot easier.
But we fought and argued for more funding for first generation students
Nice.
for college, and President Tim Foster at the time took me and Angel Bautista, who was my vice president, and we testified
Mhm.
to the Joint Budget Committee. We testified to legislators.
At the state level?
Yeah, I
Wow.
was like, this is what my story is. I'm a first gen. It doesn't matter what color you are.
Yeah.
Like if first generation means it's harder. It's your first time in college
Yeah.
and your whole family.
Right.
And that can be scary.
There's pressure on there too.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing was we're fighting for funding for first generation students, and we got it.
Hmm.
And I'm not saying that's because of us. It was a whole effort across the state,
You're
we
part of
played
it.
it. Yeah, and that was one thing I was very proud of. But
So you learn to lobby. I mean, that's such a big thing, and we try and encourage people on is like you are represented by your government and you need to voice your
Mhm.
reasonings for that. So what did it feel like to have that success after a legitimate campaign for trying to get some first generation?
it was again just like how I kind of felt it when I mentioned before. It's so addicting to
Mm,
see a process work
hmm.
and to see it come and be successful. It's for good. I don't know if anyone's like, no, first generation shouldn't get like I just that person should go and get looked at. But
Right, yeah, sure.
I
They
think
should
that's
try.
not yeah, that's not a topic that we had a lot of pushback on.
Hmm.
But money is money. The money itself is the topic. That's
Sure.
like where's it gonna come from? Where's it gonna go?
Right.
But that feeling of doing that it just fueled me. And I was a student at the time. I wasn't in my career.
Hmm.
I was still growing and learning. And to have that experience as a student, yeah, I was like, this is what I want to do.
Right.
And I thought that at that very second, at that table, at that testifying table, that we looking at the legislators, and I was like, nah, this is what it is. Like, this is
Hmm.
what I want. I made that very clear to myself that day. And I was like, actually, it's something, I think it's on my Instagram or Facebook. I was like, this is what I was meant for. It's that I posted it that day.
Nice.
So,
That was a powerful moment then.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was.
Well, let's talk back a little bit. So,
Hmm.
obviously, we had kind of your Democratic part or equivalent on
Hmm.
earlier to talk about the primary process and things like that, which we're headed towards. But first question in that regard, why are you a Republican? I mean, Hawaii is a very Democratic state. I think how long has it had a Democratic senator?
Yeah, there's never been.
Anything different?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, tell me about that process. What makes you a Republican? What do you think is kind of that value set that the party matches with you?
Mhm. So I think for me, the bottom line core essence is I believe in more when it comes to the people than a system.
Hmm.
And I don't like that sometimes that government thinks they know what's best. We see it all the time when I lobbied in Denver. We see it all the time where the government thinks that this program is going to benefit, but it really doesn't do anything for us here in Mesa County. But in Denver, it does.
Mm.
And how is that fair?
Hmm.
So it is to me, it's more of let's trust our community, our people. Well, what are our problems here? Instead of the government telling us, oh, you need a program for that.
Hmm.
And then we don't really have a say or
Hmm.
of what that program, how it's ran or anything. But to me, in Hawaii, and if you guys ever go there, it's beautiful. Don't
It
get me
is.
wrong.
I
I
agree.
leave tomorrow to
Okay.
go to Hawaii. But because, and like you mentioned, it is very Democrat
Hmm.
and heavy Democrat.
Hmm.
And the programs and the system that we have is it's to I'm seeing it is it's slowly just draining us.
Mm.
And like the I don't want to get Hawaii politics involved, but like the biggest thing for me was when they built their Skyline rail on an island,
Hmm.
and it cost like $14 billion,
Right.
and it doesn't relieve traffic.
Yeah. Who was that for?
Yes,
Yeah.
and like but it was decided by the Democratic Party that this is what we need best because their traffic's pretty bad in Hawaii.
Hmm.
But they did it, and it hasn't really relieved anything, and it cost a lot.
Hmm.
And the bad part is that other islands were paying for that, and they can't even use it.
Right.
So to me, it's like what progress for the sake of progress isn't necessarily correct.
Right.
So I just see that to me, if government is limited and truly controlled by us, I think that's the essence of why I'm a Republican. Besides me being in my faith, and I think faith aligns with
Hmm.
the Republican Party a lot better than the Democratic Party, but I don't want to get involved with or talk about religion.
Sure.
But to me, the essence is that I trust people more than the system.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the interesting part where we can like agree a lot, and it's like where local control matters
Hmm.
tremendously, on the ground matters tremendously, and not to get into debate today, I think we should come back on and
Yeah.
actually, yeah, hash it out. But I mean, there's so much agreement in regards to what is passed at the state level, the federal level, and how it's actually executed at the ground
Yeah.
level.
Yeah.
And when our politicians continue to lose connection to the people is where we get in a lot of trouble.
Hmm.
And I mentioned this with Jamie too, of the average congressional salary, or not, the average wealth
Hmm.
of a congressperson is over $1 million. How are they going to understand? Let's run for Congress right now. Let's get going. That's a million. That's a million apiece. But it's just like, what is happening? And I mean, I want to dive into something different here. So, one of the questions we have, and I promise we'll get to the primary process. I think that's really important. But the Republican Party right now, according to Gallup, is at 40% approval rating. The Democrats are at 37%.
Hmm.
And I think Congress is even
Winning.
You're up by 3 points. That's good. That's that's not bad. That's a
Yeah,
good lead, but still less than 50%. So what the hell's going on?
Yeah, I think, and being in this field, right, and being engulfed in it for so long, I truly think that politics is getting more distasteful,
Hmm.
and
Well, it's an insult to say you're political
period.
or you're a politician.
One part, yeah,
Yeah.
and absolutely, and like it's kind of people like, oh, I'm a Democrat or oh, I'm a Republican. Like I run into that all the time,
Hmm.
and it to me, I think that people are starting to be like, oh man, like it doesn't really matter what side it is. It's just kind of all wonky.
Yeah.
And we see it, and any from advice for anybody watching is that you can see how the country is fluctuating by the house.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. And I always look at that, and it's because the house flips more than anything.
Hmm.
And it doesn't matter what president is in office, the house does what it wants.
Right.
So you can tell that we had a Democratic majority. Now we have a like very
It's minor on both
yes,
sides. The last
yes.
4 years.
And it just shows what I think we're kind of seeing a shift back over to the Democrat side.
Yeah.
And we saw that in the New York mayor race. We saw that in the race here for
Mhm.
school board. We saw that across the country. But I think people are ultimately just kind of over the bickering and the bantering, and it's just an ugly thing. And
Yeah.
I think Colorado does a really good job at it, where we have majority of people are independents or undecided.
Hmm.
Like that's a unique like that's huge.
Yeah.
And I think Colorado plays a huge role in what I think what it's going to look like.
Mhm.
But I think ultimately people are just kind of tired to say that we have a higher rate and that we're better.
You're up by 3.
Yeah.
You're still up by 3
I
points.
I think people across the board are just tired of it.
So what can change? I mean, like obviously independents are becoming, more populated. I'm an independent.
Mhm.
I appreciate, having kind of stepping back and looking at it more. I can also appreciate people that are still in the party system trying to correct that, under 50% approval. So
Hmm.
in your mind, what does the Republican Party need to do? Or does the Republican Party need to try and get over 50% approval? Or is it just like, we need to build up our base and just focus on that? Like, where do you stand?
Yeah, so and I can only speak on the Mesa County Party.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know. Sometimes state level and federal level
No
has
doubt.
different beasts, but
Yeah.
I'm a believer, and this is what I ran for vice chair, and this is what I told the party when I did it, and people who know me is that we have to get the younger people involved,
Hmm.
and I think that that will do a lot of it because as of right now we have Mesa County is fairly the generation is very older.
Hmm.
It's a lot older actually, and the appeal for anyone to participate is, I think, is slowly dwindling
Yeah.
on both sides. I'm sure that the Democratic Party is feeling the same way, but I want to bridge that gap between the younger generation and not necessarily like saying, hey, you should be Republican. That's like, dude, just get involved.
Mm.
Like that's like you'll find your path in
Hmm.
it. And like that's why like I'm younger.
Hmm. You are.
I'm gonna
That's
ride that.
established. You're
Yeah.
good.
We get it, bro. You're
Oh,
young.
we'll put it on the mark.
Yeah,
Younger. Yeah.
young. Um, and like I'm learning that, and I talked to the Jason, who's a candidate for 54 House
Hmm.
District, and we are talking, and he put it best is that us now, even like us in our younger age,
Hmm.
what we do now is gonna affect us and our kids.
Sure.
And that's one thing that like, I was like, damn, that's true.
Hmm.
Like what I decide now, if I become a legislator or how the party is going to move forward, that's going to affect me in 10, 15. I'm still going to be here.
Sure. Right.
Well,
We get to see the consequences,
yes.
And you've already survived one car accident,
Yeah,
so you're kind of immortal for
I'm
now.
pretty sure I'm not going to die ever. So, but that's how I think is that we can fix or grow or anything is that these values that the Republicans have is not so crazy or like
Mm.
it's rooted in individualism. Like you deserve, you should have your money and you should hold it. Like the the core of what the Republicans believe in strong business and the private sector and this is people can all understand that. We all
Hmm.
want to have a good business community and business industry here. And I'm not saying that's a Republican thing, but like it's something that we pride ourselves in and we support. But the younger generation need to see that Democrat side or Republican side that issues is like you have to be involved. Like
Mm.
that's it. Just be involved and find out where it is. And I think that's how you answer this horrible ratings that you refer to is that you have to build and show the younger people you have to
Yeah.
or else if this continues the way it's going and it's just kind of the that one older generation just kind of doing it and not you're not investing in the, you understand like it's gonna go away
Right.
and then what like you have to invest in the upcoming people and that could be scary at times because experience is valued and
Hmm.
but sometimes a younger perspective and that passion and drive you can learn politics as you go but you can't have passion.
Right.
You have to have that. You
The
can't
same
learn it.
energy.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
So I think investing in the younger generations is huge, and I'm trying. That's
Hmm.
what I'm trying to do here. So
And showing. I think, we're lucky to have some young people in positions of power within their parties. And I think that's the goal of, what we're doing here is to at least, give you a platform to, express what's going on in the party and, how people can get involved, especially the younger people. So now's a good time to get involved, right? Because you
yeah.
got primaries coming up. What's that process going to look like?
So I do know, and I have my notes here. Shout out
Go
to
for it.
Terry Porter, our
Shout out, Terry.
our party secretary, who she's amazing, dude. I don't know. The party wouldn't be able to function without
Oh,
Terry.
there's always the, yeah.
Shout out. That so I know that the Mesa County caucus will be on March 7th.
Okay.
And the good thing is that anyone can go. You just can't if you're not a Republican, you can't participate, but anyone can go. It's not like a super hidden room and
Sure.
we have guards that say, show us your Republican tattoo or if you can't get in. But and you to be involved in that, you have 22 days prior to that date, whatever date that is,
Hmm.
22 days before March 7th.
Okay.
And then you register as a Republican and then you can participate at the caucus.
And run as
And
well?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and to participate. Well, that's the caucus, and then the Mesa County Assembly will be on March 28th, and we don't really have a location yet, but that the rules are apply for that as well. So the caucus meets on the 7th, and the assembly is on the 28th.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and please, like, you can put like a contact or whatever,
Mhm. Definitely.
like reach out to me, and I'm a perfect bridge for that, and we can get that conversation going because it's kind of sometimes it can be fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Oh yeah, they can get rowdy.
Yes,
They
it
can get
definitely can.
rowdy. It'll shock you sometimes.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
oh, okay, I didn't know. So, I mean, there's always a debate right now around how to get on the ballot.
Mhm.
So, with caucus or signatures or like what's the most representative? Like, where do you stand? Because right now it's both,
Mhm.
correct? You can get it on both ways. So, how do you view that? Is that the correct form? Is it, do you think it should just be signatures, just caucus? Like, what's the pluses and minuses to the system right now?
Yeah, and this is an issue and or a dilemma, I guess you could say, within
Hmm.
the Republican
I
Party.
would say both parties right
Yeah,
now.
and some because some say like, oh, it should be the party should pick through the caucus and the assembly and again, I'm only thinking county level.
Hmm.
I'm not really thinking the state assembly is a different ballgame.
Sure.
But for us here and to get local candidates and everything, I'm kind of indifferent for this reason. And this is the first time that even I've always talked about it to people, but this is the first time that I'm publicly
So, breaking news.
stated. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. We got a lot of banners.
Breaking young news. To petition on is, and I've done that with a candidate before that
Uh-huh.
I do campaigns and I went that route before. And what people have to understand is that if someone was to petition on, you need a certain amount. I believe when I did it 4 years ago, 6 years ago, it was, I think it was 1,000 or 1,500
Okay, yeah.
valid, which means you need more raw
Hmm.
because signatures tend to
We'll get tossed
filter
out.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say 2,000,
Hmm.
right? So, but they have to be Republican voters.
Right.
Any other voter that is not registered with the state, that is not a Republican, their vote gets thrown out.
Okay.
So I like to think of it as we're getting 2,000 of our people,
Hmm.
and that's 2,000 people. And sometimes to contrast, you go with the caucus, and that's a smaller number,
Hmm.
way smaller than 2,000.
Yeah.
And so it kind of has its meaning. Like it's not you pay to play.
Hmm.
You can collect signatures for free.
Right.
I've done that,
Hmm.
and
It's harder, but
yeah,
possible.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
harder, but it's absolutely possible, and especially on a local level, it's a lot easier than it is on the state level.
Right.
But I like to believe in every possible avenue
Hmm.
for a candidate. I don't like to think that there's a one solid way because if you have different avenues to win, like that just creates more people involvement. If it's very one specific way of doing it, then that one way can get tainted or like
Sure.
you don't know. And I'm not saying ours is. I actually think our caucus process is it's pretty fun. Like it's a hoot.
Yes. No doubt.
But if there's more ways for us to get candidates, then I think we should be open to that, especially in Colorado when we're such in a minority.
Mm.
We need to weigh those options. We need to see how we can get more candidates. So
Hmm.
people are not. Some people might be mad at me at that, but
Okay.
I'm willing to sit down and discuss why I in depth why I feel this way. But
Yeah. So do you feel like it's good to have more candidates in a primary, or would you like to see just because sometimes there's that argument of if there's a lot in the primary, they beat each other up, they're not ready for the general. Others say, well, no, it's good because then that, sharpens them for the general. Like, where do you usually stand in regards to multiple people running in a primary?
and so you have to look at it as again Mesa County,
Hmm.
and it is right leaning.
Hmm.
It's a safer place for Republicans to run.
Yeah.
But and how I feel is I will never, and I told people this within the party, I will never ever tell someone not to run.
Right.
Everyone has that right to
Hmm.
do that, even if they're the worst. You have that right to run.
Yeah.
And like, who am I
It's good.
to tell you not? Like, I'm just Beau. Like, and now I'm going to help who I think should win.
Sure.
But as a party first vice chair, there's rules that we have to be unbiased and everything, which is
Right.
rightfully so. But
Yeah.
um,
Until the candidate's
yeah,
elected, then that's your
yeah,
person.
and that's one thing that we're trying to see is everyone says, "Oh, we got to get behind the right candidate. We got to get behind."
Mm,
But to me, the process for the primary is to vet and find the right candidate, right?
right. The people decide the right candidate.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's what people on both sides. I see it when I talk to my Democratic friends, and I see it when I talk to my Republican colleagues. Is they're so like, gung ho and stern on this person as a candidate. And I was like, well, let's see them debate.
Hmm.
Let's see. Like, it doesn't. Who are like I just we can decide who it is through that process. That's the whole reason
Right.
why we have a primary. And for someone to tell me that, oh, we should get behind someone or do this or like, no, let's trust our primary process.
Hmm.
Let's look at it and let's dive into these candidates, see who really is best, and then holy crap, vote.
Oh, that's
Like
good.
who would have
Yeah.
thunk, right? Like I don't, and again, like I might get some pushback some people on my side, but that's the truth. The
Yeah.
primary process is to vet and find the right person.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of it.
Embrace the Democratic Republic
Hmm.
that we have
And
here.
now, in contrast to that, is once the primary person is chosen, we need to be 100% behind that candidate.
Mm,
There's no such thing as, well, the other guy should have won, so I'm bitter.
sure.
No, we need to come together. That I think that is the argument or the issue is after that primary candidate has been
Mm,
decided, we need to be behind them.
mm,
We need. I think. Oh, who told me this? Where I think we talked about it, but it's better to have a 75% Republican candidate than a 0% Republican candidate.
right.
And like we need to just get behind our own, and that doesn't start in the primary. That starts when the primary has decided the winner.
Hmm.
So I'm hoping, my fellow Republicans, that the issue is not the primary. The issue is that we need to get behind who the people, Republicans, have chosen.
Right.
Yeah.
So let the process play out
Mm-hmm.
and
The whole point
then,
of it.
yeah, and then build around it after.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Rally up behind them.
Sure. Sure. No, I think I'm always a big believer in more voice and more candidates, just to find someone that represents you. And it's tough when you can't vote for somebody that represents your ideals. If it's a big change or if it's, the current status,
Mm-hmm.
it's bad. It's bad
Mm-hmm.
for democracy. And, that's why it's nice to be an independent, because then I can kind of look at both parties there. I know that's also up for debate right now, but I think more voice is always better. And I think we agree on that.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, letting the voters
Mm-hmm.
decide
Mm-hmm.
and weigh in, which is great. So, last question for you, Bo. How do you differentiate, you say, from like the local party or like small p politics, ideology compared to national? Like, do you see a big difference or are they pretty tight? Like,
I guess like yes and no. That it is you're a fool if you don't think that national politics plays a role.
no doubt.
And people like to say like it's local, this is us, but national politics plays a huge role
Hmm.
on a local level,
Hmm.
a huge influence on a local level. And no, I think when it comes to local issues, the battle for local issues is a lot cleaner.
Mm,
I think we could honestly say that, hey, X, Y, and Z for the county is probably better for us. No, it's not really political. Like
right.
it's just for us, and I think that battle is easier. And then, but on the national level, yeah, to me it muddies
Mm,
everything. Of course, we're passionate and we believe in our. Well, I believe that our president is doing somewhat more good than what the media is saying and
mm,
all that and stuff. And but then you get the other side and they're like, oh no, he's the worst, and that trickles down and then people like to think, and I want to please is that what we deal with here on a county level, for the most part, has nothing to do on the national. And we need to be like, hey, let's come together and let's decide what's best for Mesa County. And then, of course, we have to pick a congressman. Of
sure.
course, like we play a role in national, yes.
Yeah.
But if we're trying to fix us here first, like we have to build us here.
Hmm.
And the national politics is just so messy. And so I tend to not I can't hide from it
Sure.
from my work,
Yeah, right.
but if I could read less of it, I do.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think there's an absolute connection, and you can't deny that. You can, and I don't know how to really.
Navigate
Yeah,
that
it's
portion.
just it's a beast,
Right.
and I don't know how to be like, hey, don't do your research. Like it's not ideal. People like to read, and then from there they like to have an opinion, like instead
Hmm.
of really diving into an issue.
Hmm.
Oh, this is what CNN said. This is what Fox said. And I was like, oh, we'll look into it.
Right.
Like look a little more. But
Or how impactful is that to your life? Too,
yeah,
you know?
and yeah, that's true. That I agree. There's some issues on the federal level that would don't even have a fraction of anything to do with us here.
Right.
But it's fun
Yeah.
to get to say that you're like, oh, this is what I think.
Sure.
When you work in politics for so long, you can either understand it or you kind of go numb
Hmm.
to it. And I feel like I'm slowly like I understand it, don't get me wrong, but I am getting numb to the noise a little bit.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's hard. It's easy just to because it's just relentless.
Hmm.
And it's, the media cycle and like the political cycle itself too, and just arbitrary stuff that like again, doesn't really affect you, but they just boost it up like crazy, and so
Hmm.
they want to get you involved in it and almost a distraction sometimes. So what would you say that local issue is? Like, if you were to, put yourself out there for, running or something like that, like, what do you think right now is one of the biggest things that you would talk about and want to try and change?
In terms of just
Mesa County, the city, like, what do you think is affecting our neighbors the most right now here?
mm, I don't I maybe I'm not haven't really looked into anything
Yeah,
recently since my travel and my car accident, but I can't really think of a single hard issue that,
sure.
but I don't, I think we're doing, for the most part,
Hmm.
I think our county is doing okay.
Hmm.
I think, from what I will say, because I'm sorry, I'm not trying to dodge,
Oh, no, no,
I
you're
don't really
good.
feel
It's a
like
good question.
there's a, maybe you can find one, but I just don't. I feel because there's a lot of counties that kind of look towards Mesa County as
Hmm.
like an example, or hey, what are they doing? And I think for the most part, we're doing okay. And
Hmm.
I wouldn't want to. We Mesa County is majority conservative,
Hmm.
facts,
Yeah, right.
and of course the policy we have is going to be more conservative, and to me, we're doing okay. I know that there's some tuffle with budgeting with the
Hmm.
sheriff's department
Hmm.
and all that, and like that's it all get hassled. I don't know what would you think a big issue is? Maybe I can weigh in on it, but
Sure. I mean, like it's kind of a national, but local too is just affordability.
oh
I mean,
yeah, yeah,
I went out to dinner last night,
yeah.
right? And shout out Enzo's, right? But it was pricey. I was like, holy guacamole here, like, and it's hard. It's hard out there right now. And that's kind of like the big issue of, prices are increasing, wages are kind of flat. And, you look at the median household income here in Mesa County is around 55,000 for a household. And it's
Hmm.
just like, how are people making ends meet when, I'm thankful enough to have kind of, a professional job and within the school district here, and same with my wife, but it's still hard. And people are looking for answers. And I don't know. I don't know what answers are. I don't
No,
know. What
and
would
that's
you?
you're right. I mean, affordability is a huge thing, and I like to think of it that as like a overall like I mean it is a national topic, but it does affect us here.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is I know our state legislators like to think they have
Hmm.
an answer, and nine times out of ten that answer just kind of causes more.
Hmm.
So like I don't housing is
Right. And you're a renter
it's
now, and that's kind of a big deal.
yeah. Yeah, I sold my house a couple months
Right.
ago, but I don't if I had an answer for housing, geez, I wouldn't be here. I'll be rich somewhere because I solved the problem. But
Sure.
No, and there's so many different factors that fall in. There's material, there's the housing, there's selling, there's taxes. There's so many variables to
Hmm.
housing, affordable housing, and
Hmm.
I don't know even know where to start. And that's a hard one. Like I'll be honest, like I don't know where you would start.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. No, I think, it's going to be supply in a lot of ways. And then that's where the argument comes of like, is it more deregulation around supply, or is it
Yeah.
like government involvement for what supply is able to come on the market? And like, especially who's buying up the housing is also a major discussion. Um, it's not easy.
Mm-mm.
It's not easy. So, but I look forward to talking more. For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of issues to dive into. So those dates again, real quick for the primary
Yes.
caucus.
Is March 7th, and people have 22 days prior to that day. And the assembly will meet on the 28th, March 28th.
Okay.
And we're still trying to decide because, fun fact,
Hmm.
the state party is trying to see if they can do it here,
Oh,
which
that's
is
big.
a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
And I don't know where we can house that many
Sure.
people, but that's in the process. And the Republican Party, we did just get a building, a brand new building, and so still going
Here
through
locally?
renovations,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
and stuff. So we will have it's on Book Cliff. It's behind the hospital.
Okay.
I'll get the address to you if you want to send that out. But good, that's good stuff.
Hmm.
We're moving away from the old building, and we have it's a nicer place. Like Terry's putting a lot of work into it and stuff. So that'll be the home for
Cool.
the party, and then yeah,
Congratulations on that.
yeah.
So, how can people, last question here to sign us off, but how can people get involved with the party? What's the best way to get in contact?
So the best way is honestly, we have, of course, we have the website, we have Facebook, we have our Instagram, we have all that, and but if you want, it's no secret. I'll probably comment or whatever. You can tag me. Just reach out to me, and that is the quickest. That's one thing I love about Grand Junction and Mesa County is it really is that simple.
Yeah,
There's no like waiting on a line and like,
sure.
oh man, like no, call Bo.
Call up your neighbor.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
And like call Nick. Nick will tell me like whatever. Like there's so many ways to do it, and that's to me that's the quickest is just word of mouth and call.
right.
And we have the website, we have our numbers, but reach out, send me a Facebook message, and it done. Like we'll get you going.
Right.
Not a problem at all.
Sweet. Well, Bo, thanks for coming on Better Together. I forgot to announce we're in the Copeka studios today. So we're going to try out this in-person stuff, but for the inaugural, we appreciate you coming on.
Yes, sir.
Have a good rest of your
Thank
day.
you. You too.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Special thank you to our Patreon members. We are 100% community funded, and your support goes a long way. You can become a member at patreon.com/bettertogether, and we have several options and perks, so check it out.